Hi, welcome back. In this video, we are going to look at linear inequalities. And this one, we're definitely going to want to use our graphing calculators to help us. Okay, so number one, which graph best represents the following inequality? I'm going to use my graphing calculator to help me. I'm going to go ahead and go to the home screen and start fresh because I've got all sorts of stuff going on there. And I'm going to grab a graph. Okay, and just in case I want to see it, I'm going to turn those grids on. So I'm going to hit Menu, Settings, and I'm going to turn that grid on for myself. Lined grid. Okay. And then I want to graph this inequality where I have y is less than or equal to. So if I take my cursor and I hit the back button, the delete button 1, it's going to let me choose less than or equal to, so that I can make sure I get this graphed the way I want it. Negative 1/3 x, negative 1/3, so just 1 divided by 3, x plus 2. And then when I look at the graph, I just want to see which one it matches. I can see it crosses. I'm going to move this out of my way. It crosses at 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like 6-ish. So 1 and 6. Or sorry, 2 and 6, it's above the 1. 2 and 6, it looks like it's going to be A matches. So A is going to be the answer for number 1. Okay. Number 2 is a little bit different because this time I don't have my graph set equal to y. But that's okay. If you're using what it says here is a relation, you can erase all the way back and type in this graph the way it is. It limits some of the capabilities, but if we just want to know what the graph looks like, then it's perfectly fine to do this. So negative 20x plus 4y is less than. So to get my less than symbol, if you look where the equals is under control, right above it you can see there's a not equal to and there's some different things here. So if I hit control and the equals, that's going to give me all of my little options here, okay? And I just want less than without the equal to. And then negative 16. When I hit enter, you're going to see it's really hard to tell that that's a dotted line. If you hover it over it, you can see it a little bit better that that's a dotted line, okay? So we do have a dotted line, and our graph goes here through at 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like negative 4, and then it doesn't really cross right there, but just before the 1, okay? But what we want to do is see which of these graphs, which one of these points falls inside the shaded area, and because it doesn't have an equal, we can't actually equal the line, okay? So 0, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This point right here is not going to be inside that line, so that's not an answer, okay? Switch to my pen instead of my mouse. Okay, 1, 1, 1, 1. If you look, that's right on the graph. But remember, we're a dotted graph. So because we're a dotted line, we're not allowed to be, we have to be less than that line. We can't be equal to that line. Okay, 6, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 0 is right here. That is in my shaded area. So C is my correct answer. We can check D. 1, 1, 2, 3. That point right there is just barely outside of my line, so that one does not work. Okay, let's look at number 3. Number 3, which inequality is best represented by the graph? Okay, so I can see I have a dotted line, so I know I can get rid of the ones with equals. Can't be this one, it can't be this one. If you don't remember that, that's okay. You can graph all of them and see which one works. But now I have this down to 2. I'm going to graph B, and if B works, I'm done. If not, then I know it's D, but I'm going to graph it just to check. Okay, so I'm going to double tap on my cursor there, and then use my trackpad to do that. And then I'm going to delete out what was in there, and I'm going to type in 3x plus 3y plus 2y y. 3x plus 2y and then less than 4. So remember, we're going to go control equals so that we can get less than 4. And so here is the graph. Let's see, does that look like the same graph? This one crosses here between 1 and 2. This one does not cross between 1 and 2. And then up here it looks like it crosses at 2, which this one does not. Okay, so it's not B either, which means it better be D. It is good to type it in just to make sure. So I'm going to type in 2x plus 3y is less than, so control equals to get my less than 12. And it may not necessarily look like this graph on here, but you notice I have negative 10 to 10, which is what this graph probably is here. But then this is 11 to negative 11, and this is only not quite 7 to not quite 7, right? So it's going to be a little stretched out. But we are crossing here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just before the 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right near the 6. So yeah, it might actually be on the 6. Okay, and then here we're crossing 1, 2, 3, 4, and here we're crossing 1, 2, 3, 4. So yes, D is my correct answer. Okay, let's look at number 4. Which graph best represents the solution to the system of inequalities? Okay, so we're going to graph these two and see which one it matches. Okay, so first I'm going to graph that first one. Since I already have a graph going, I'm just going to delete that one out and use the same one. X plus y is greater than 3. So remember, control equals greater than 3. When I hit enter, I can see here's what it looks like, and it's a dotted line. And then I want to do the next one. So I'm going to hit tab, and it wants me to, it says, oh, you've been putting in relations instead of functions. So we'll do that again. X minus y. Oops, I don't know if that was minus or negative. X minus y. And then control enter is less than or equal to 4. Okay, and you can see that this one is a solid line, this one is a dotted line. If it's hard to tell when you don't hover over it, just use your trackpad here to hover over it, and you can see if it's a dotted or a solid. Okay, so we want to match that one, and it's even the same color, so that's kind of nice. And let's see, it looks like it's gonna be A will be the one that matches it with my dotted and my solid and my correct shading. Okay. All right, let's look at number 5. For number 5, a system is graphed below. Describe which system describes the system. So which of these system of equations describes this system that is graphed? Okay, we're going to do the same thing we did on that last one. We are going to graph. I'm just going to pick this first one right here. 5x plus y is less than 2. 5x plus y. Control, enter, less than 2. So that moved my blue one. So now I'm going to use the red one. And x plus y is less than negative 2. X plus y is less than. Control equals less than negative 2. And when I hit enter, I can see now on here, I just have just the actual overlapping solution is all that they've shaded in. So that's where I should see my blue and my red overlapping. But I can see my purplish color here, that's the overlapping blue and red, are going to be this section here. So while those are the right two equations, they were not the right two systems, which makes sense because these are all the same equations, just different inequalities. Okay, so it's not going to be A. So let's try B. And it looks like the equations stay the exact same. I'm only going to change this to, and you can use your trackpad to get there. I'm going to change it to control enter, a greater than. Okay, and then I'm going to change the second equation to a greater than also. come here and change it, Control Enter to a greater than as well. And see, so this time it moved it, now we're over here. We're trying to get in here, okay? So B is still not correct. Let's try C. So I'm still gonna have greater than that I just had for B, but I'm gonna change my second one to a less than. So that red one is gonna become, the X plus Y is gonna become a less than. Control equals less than, and let's see what we get. Oh, which means it better be D, right? That's the only one left. So I've got a less than and a greater than. My blue one, my 5x plus y, needs to be a less than. Control Enter, less than. And my x plus y needs to be a greater than. Control Enter, a greater than. Enter. And look, there you can see my overlapping part is matching with the overlapping part. Okay, so D is my correct answer. Okay. All right, number 6, which ordered pair is a solution? So this is like the very first one we did. We just have to graph just the one. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get myself another page with another graph on it. And remember, we are going to graph 2x, we're going to graph an inequality, so we don't want an equals. All of these right here say y, and then your inequality, this one's not solved for y. So I'm going to graph what they call a relation, which means I can put my x's and my y's wherever. I don't have to be solved. And I'm going to do 2x minus 6y. Control Enter is greater than 12. Okay. And let's see which one of these falls in. 1, negative 5. 1, negative 5. 1, 2. Let me move this out of the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here's 1, negative 5. That is a correct answer. That one is going to work for us. So A is correct. Okay. If I look at the others, negative 1, negative 5. I think that might work also. Negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that one also works. So we have 2 correct answers for this one. So if this was a case problem, then it would be A and B, right? 3, negative 1, 1, 2, 3, negative 1. Now that one is on the line, and it's a dotted line. So that one is not going to work. Okay? And then negative 3, negative 1, negative 3, negative 1 is outside my shading altogether, so that one doesn't work either. So this one actually has 2 answers, which won't happen on your STAR test. Your STAR test and your practice problems should only have 1 answer. Your STAR test will for sure only have 1 answer. Okay? Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please make sure you're checking in with your teacher or your tutor. Thank you so much.